Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into the absolute marvel that is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, for generations we've all been taught that this massive structure was just a grand tomb for a pharaoh, right? But what happens when engineers and physicists look at the exact same building? Well, some of them see a completely different story. Today, we're going to look strictly at the physical evidence, the material science, and the acoustic properties to understand why some researchers are actually proposing that this might have been an ancient power plant. Let's get right into it.
The ancient writer Strabo really hit the nail on the head when he described the sheer awe this structure inspires. He said, it seemed like a building let down from heaven, untouched by human hands. And honestly, he wasn't exaggerating. While today we mostly just see this stepped, tan-colored core, the Great Pyramid originally featured beautifully polished limestone casing stones. These things were so brilliant, so perfectly flat, that they acted like a gigantic mirror. Researchers have actually calculated that they reflected the sun's light so powerfully, the pyramid would have been visible from the moon as a shining star on Earth. Pretty incredible, right?
To really grasp the physical reality of this thing, we have to look at the numbers, because they completely defy modern comprehension. The pyramid is made up of up to 2.5 million blocks of stone. And we're not talking small bricks here. Individual blocks weigh anywhere from 2 to 70 tons each. Just to put that into perspective for you, you could literally build over 30 Empire State Buildings with all that masonry. Plus, this massive structure is aligned to true north with a precision of just 3/8 of a degree. That's actually more accurate than the Paris Observatory. Oh, and curiously, it's missing its original capstone, which leaves a perfectly flat 20-foot wide summit at the top.
Now, consider the dramatic contrast between ancient precision and, well, modern exploration. On one hand, you've got the undeniable perfection of the original block masonry on the east side of the pyramid. The joints fit together with absolute optical precision, literally less than 1/50th of an inch separating the blocks, and they're bound by a cement that still completely defies modern chemical analysis. But then, in stark contrast, there's a massive, violent, physical scar left by Colonel Howard Weiss. See, back in the 1800s, when explorers couldn't find a door, their go-to scientific method was basically just blasting the pyramid with gunpowder to try and force their way inside.
So for centuries, Orthodox history has confidently labeled this magnificent structure as the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu. Yet, there are some pretty baffling physical anomalies that challenge that narrative at every single turn. First off, unlike almost every other known Egyptian tomb, there are absolutely zero inscriptions or hieroglyphs in the corridors, none. And the stone chest found in the king's chamber, completely empty, showing zero chemical remains of a buried body. Even weirder, there is no soot on the ceilings. If workers were using fire torches to light their way in the pitch black, soot should be everywhere. Oh, and finally, there's an unexplained salt residue coating the walls of the queen's chamber, which actually indicates some kind of intense chemical reaction took place in there.
And these anomalies get even more intriguing when you hear about a bizarre event from the late 19th century. British inventor Sir William Siemens actually climbed up to that flat 20-foot summit with his Arab guides. Once he got up there, he reported experiencing a ringing in his ears and a prickling sensation in his fingers. Being the scientist that he was, he decided to do a little experiment. He moistened a newspaper, wrapped it around his wine bottle to make an early capacitor, known as a Leyden jar, and held it above his head. No joke, the bottle actually became charged with electricity and started emitting visible sparks. His guides were absolutely shocked, and honestly, who wouldn't be?
Part 1. The Pyramid Power Plant, reimagining Giza as an electrical generator.
This brings us to a fascinating theory introduced by researcher Christopher Dunn, and later reviewed by academics at the University of Bridgeport. They suggest the Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb at all, but rather a massive, wireless electrical generator. The theory proposes that the specific stones used to build the pyramid weren't just picked because they looked nice, they were chosen for their exact electrical properties. The original outer casing was made of white tufa limestone. This specific limestone doesn't contain magnesium, which makes it an incredibly high-quality electrical insulator, perfect for preventing energy inside from leaking out. But on the inside, the chambers and passages are made of granite. Granite is a fantastic electrical conductor. It's slightly radioactive, and, this is the kicker, it is composed of about 55% quartz crystals.
Now, to understand how this proposed ancient generator might have actually worked, we need to talk about the piezoelectric effect. This isn't fringe science, it's a completely validated physical principle where the quartz crystals, like the ones found inside the pyramid's granite core, will literally stimulate electrons to flow when they are mechanically vibrated or put under structural stress. So the theory goes that if you can somehow vibrate the pyramid, those millions of quartz crystals suddenly become a massive source of electron flow.
Part 2. Anatomy of an Ancient Generator. Step-by-step operation.
All right, let's break down this highly precise, sequential process that the theory proposes. Step 1. Chemical reactions in the Queen's chamber generate hydrogen gas that fills the interior passages. This actually perfectly explains that mystery salt residue on the walls we talked about earlier. Step 2. The subterranean chamber, located deep underground, provides priming vibrational pulses to shake up the structure. Step 3. Up in the King's chamber, massive adjustable granite beams tune themselves to the actual resonance frequency of the Earth. And finally, Step 4. All of this combined chemical, acoustic, and electrical energy produces a powerful, collimated microwave beam that shoots directly out of the metal-lined southern shaft.
But you might be wondering, where does the initial spark come from to kick off this whole process? Well, within this proposed system, the northern shaft isn't just some random air vent for a tomb. Instead, researchers hypothesized that it acted as a highly specialized, metal-lined waveguide. Its specific job was to literally draw in an ambient microwave signal, created by the hydrogen that constantly bombards the Earth from the universe, and pull that energy directly down into the energized core of the pyramid.
And this leads us right into the unique science of hydrogen itself. Hydrogen, as an element, has exactly one single electron. Just one. The theory states that the energized hydrogen atoms filling the pyramid's passages absorb that incoming universal microwave signal. This massive influx of energy pumps that one single electron into a much higher energy state. As this process reoccurs over and over exponentially, it takes that small, ambient universal signal and amplifies it into a massively powerful microwave beam, a beam that could theoretically be captured by wirelessly tuned antennas located outside the pyramid.
Part 3. Wireless energy. Connecting ancient theories to modern physics.
Now, if projecting wireless energy across vast distances sounds a bit like ancient science fiction, you might be surprised to learn that it's actually deeply connected to cutting-edge physics happening in laboratories right now. Researchers at the University of Bridgeport found some truly fascinating conceptual parallels between the pyramid's hypothetical resonant tuning system and a 2007 MIT project called Widricity. Both of these concepts rely entirely on the exact same physics of resonance. While the ancient Egyptian theory suggests using resonant acoustic and electromagnetic energy to wirelessly power distant antennas, the modern MIT project uses resonant magnetic coupling between two carefully tuned coils to transmit energy without needing any wires at all.
So, the number 60 here represents watts. That modern MIT Widricity team successfully demonstrated that they could transmit 60 watts of electricity over a distance of 2 meters using this exact principle of resonant magnetic coupling. So while the ancient theory suggests the Great Pyramid was capable of an immense, maybe even countrywide power output, the underlying physics of wireless energy transmission via resonance, that is entirely validated by today's science.
When we look back at the vast layout of the Giza Plateau, with the 3 primary pyramids and the legendary Sphinx, the sheer precision, the deep grasp of material science, and the immense scale of these structures are just completely staggering. They continue to fiercely challenge our understanding of what ancient humans were capable of. And really, regardless of whether they were magnificent, purely spiritual tombs for pharaohs or highly advanced acoustic and electromagnetic powerhouses, their architectural brilliance is absolutely undeniable.
Which leaves us with a pretty compelling final thought to wrap up this explainer. If a structure built over 4,500 years ago can conceptually mirror our modern advancements in wireless electricity, what other lost technologies might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to ask the right questions? It's a lot to think about, right? Thank you so much for exploring the mysteries of the Great Pyramid with me today. Keep asking questions and keep exploring.